Hello and welcome to French Countryside Life. It's not really my line, but the reason for that is I've been watching Colin's videos and have a look at his channel, obviously, have a look back through, and you'll see he does some interviews with people here in his house when they come and visit, don't you?
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be nice if I interviewed Colin. And the reason for that is I've spent some time here now, I've got to know Colin and Jane obviously, and I find it completely fascinating. And Colin has genuinely had a really interesting past and life, and now he's in France with the YouTube as well. It's really interesting. So if this is your kind of thing, then you're in for a treat. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and yeah, just enjoy it. Colin.
Yes. Right.
Brilliant. Thanks very much for having me in your house.
Mate, it's the pleasure is all mine, and I've learnt so much. I said in your previous visit, actually, I think I learnt more in those 2 weeks than I learnt in the previous 20 years.
Okay, that's good.
So this has been, because there's been a lot more plumbing this time, isn't there?
Yeah.
And I've learnt a lot more, that sort of stuff. So that's been brilliant.
Yeah, so it's very strange that we both find ourselves in the same location, in the same country, and it's not where we were born.
No.
So first of all, tell me about where were you born? In England, obviously.
Yeah, I was born in Wickford, in Essex, which is, at the time, it was quite a rural area. Since the many years have passed, it's sort of been swallowed up by Greater London, really. But yeah, Wickford in Essex.
Was it just you? Or?
No, there was. I've got an elder brother. He's 5 years older than me, or he was 5 years older. He's since passed, as you know. Yeah, just me and my brother and my mum and dad.
What kind of childhood did you have growing up then in Wickford?
Well, my parents separated when I was 5, and me and my brother and my mum went to live with my nan and granddad, which is great.
Nearby? Or?
Raynham in Essex, which is a little bit closer to London.
All right.
That was great. Sort of ordinary residential street. Running up and down the street, and it was a different time, I think, because you could just. What used to happen is we'd have some breakfast in the morning, we'd get turfed out of the house, and we'd just run up and down the street and different stuff, and then come back when he's hungry for jam change, and then come back before it got dark.
No social media, no mobile phones back then, I guess.
Nothing.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what that's like. Yeah. So then, obviously. Went to school.
Yeah, I did actually go to school. Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah.
No, but how did you do at school? Did you like it?
That school was okay. Yeah. I started off a bit of a nerd, actually. Yeah, really into the school, and it kind of slipped away from me, really, I suppose.
In what way?
I don't know. I got bored easy, and I think it's all about the teacher, right? We had a fantastic math teacher, right, for 2 or 3 years, and I think I learnt more in those 2 or 3 years than I did in the rest of the time. And I think it's all about the teacher.
Yeah.
You get a teacher that's really invested in it, then you just learn stuff.
Yeah.
Much like here, when you've been here, you're a really good teacher, and rather than say, I'll just do it and you watch me, you'll actually make me do it, even though I don't really want to do it because I don't know what I'm doing, but you'll just make me do it, and then I'll learn so much more.
Yeah, of course.
Similar thing, yeah.
So then, what did you come away with from school? Did you come away empty-handed?
No, just your run-of-the-mill.
What were they?
Just your run-of-the-mill list of O-levels, and I then went straight from school. I didn't go to sixth form. I did a year's foundation course in art and design. That's
art and design.
Art and design, yeah.
That's a million miles away from where you ended up, though,
I know,
isn't it?
And I finished that course, and I didn't really know what to do. And all my mates were earning money, and I was earning nothing. So I took a job at McDonald's. So I worked at McDonald's for a couple of years, and that actually, because that was the early days of McDonald's, that was probably only 4 or 5 years after they started in the UK. Because the store in Romford was store number 19.
19.
Yeah, I don't know how many there's hundreds now.
Yeah, obviously.
But that instilled in me a sense of like a work ethic, and how to clean,
Yeah, I know what you mean. So at this point, though, you had an older brother.
Yes.
He, from what you said, at this point, is he in the Navy?
Yep. So he's 5 years older than me. So I would have been 12 or 13 when he left to join the Navy. And
did you not think about doing that? Did you consider it?
Well, I did actually. Yeah, I was in the Royal British Legion Boys Band when I was about 14 onwards for a couple of years, and they was loosely based on the band of the Royal Marines.
Right.
And so I played the trombone. Actually. Who knew?
Very talented.
Yeah, who knew? And I did look into going into the Royal Marines as a bandsman.
What happened there then?
It was my eyes. I had the prescription for my lenses for my eyes then was too strong because the intake requirements were a lot stricter then than they are now.
So then, so after McDonald's, what happened?
Yeah, I decided that I wanted to drive. Obviously, I learned to drive.
So this is the thing I'm quite interested about.
Right.
How does one become a chauffeur? Like, as in your mind, you're thinking, I really like cars and I want to drive. So then you think, well, what job can I do? So I'm going to be a chauffeur. Or how did?
Well, I drove a van actually. I drove a van for years.
Similar.
Yeah, I drove a van. Went all over the country, delivering emergency lighting systems.
So you white van man, basically.
Basically, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
What then changed your mind and you looked alternative?
Well, just be nice to. Jane used to say when I was chauffeuring, I'd get home and I'd be like tired, She'd say, "What are you tired for?" I said, "Yeah, but I've been driving all day." She said, "All you do is mince around in a flash car."
Yeah.
So basically, I just wanted to mince around in a flash car.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you get into it? I mean, it's not something you just wake up one day and say, "I'm going to be a chauffeur."
No,
because this is going to define pretty much the rest of your working life.
Yeah. So I went and bought a Jag.
You bought one yourself?
Yeah. Yeah. Just went and bought a Jag. I saved up. Went and bought a Jag.
Right.
And
that's one way of doing it.
Yeah. Went up to town and knocked on a few doors. And I found this company in Mayfair, actually.
So back then, it wouldn't be send an email or anything. It would actually literally be going and knocking on the door and saying, "Look, I'm a chauffeur. Do you need a chauffeur?"
Yeah, I've never done it before, but
see, for people nowadays, that would be unheard of.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, go on. So.
Yeah, so I always remember. So didn't really. I had a fair idea of the streets in London, but I didn't know all the pubs, clubs, and restaurants and all that. Because I didn't really need it at the time. But
Yeah.
so I always remember the first job I did, right, as a chauffeur. Right, I picked up this woman, and she wanted to go to Christopher's restaurant in Covent Garden. I knew where Covent Garden is, or is, and I thought, how hard can it be? And so I'm driving around Covent Garden, looking for a sign that said Christopher's.
With the client in the back.
Yeah. I'm driving around.
First job.
Yeah, first job I'd ever done. And I thought, I'm going to have to stop and ask a taxi driver here. Anyway, so I see this taxi driver by the side of the road. I pulled up. I was just about to wind the window down and I asked this taxi driver. I looked up and there's a big sign for Christopher's.
Nice.
So I blagged that one and I've been blagging it ever since.
So you were self-employed, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how long did the self-employed chauffeuring last?
Not that long, probably a couple of years, I guess. And then there was a company that was it was a small company, a small private hire company that excuse me, asked me if I wanted to work for them. And so I thought, yeah, it's easier. It's easier with all the,
Self-employed
they
business.
take care of all the billing and everything else. Yeah,
As in your words, mince around in a flash car.
Just mince around.
That's brilliant. Yeah. So in these early years, did you ever take anyone of any note in there?
Not really, to be honest. It was your real bread and butter.
Just trying to make a
real bread and butter place. It was people from advertising agencies or press, just bread and butter stuff. That's also the airport.
And then, so you then started working for this new company, and how long were you with them for then?
Well, the guy that ran the company was a lunatic.
Oh, go on. You've got to tell me about that.
Yeah, no, he was mad. Mad as a bag of badgers. I mean, he did the job properly. I remember we had a brand new Jaguar limousine, so it was a stretch Jaguar. A really nice car. And the first job it ever went out, and I took it out to pick up this fella, and came out of Heathrow, and went across the traffic lights. As I was going across the traffic lights, some American had just got off the red eye, smashed right into the side of it.
First job,
yeah. It was about a week old, this car.
Oh.
Smashed right into the side. So I had to phone up the fella who owned the company. So I got good news and bad news. He said, "All right, what's the good news?" I said, "The good news is the airbags work." And so a bit of a sense of humour playing over that.
Yeah. So then, from then on, what was your next step? How did you go from there?
So there was a company that I used to subcontract to that used to do a lot of diplomatic and military work for the US Embassy, the South African High Commission, and the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, which is a section of the government.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah. So that was really interesting work. Whenever there was a dignitary from any of those arriving, we would land the transport, make sure they got from A to B safely.
So pick them up at the airport, drop them to the embassy, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and wherever they was going in between.
Anything interesting there that you're allowed to tell us?
Yeah. There was a lot of the best work was the US Embassy work, because they didn't mind spending money. Having said that, they didn't mind spending money, but they was really careful about it. So we did this job for this US Navy Admiral who arrived, and he had SEAL team to look after him when he was in the country. And we went to pick up this armoured Audi, but it was an Audi A6, and I was in an S-Class. So the idea was that the Admiral would be in the armoured Audi,
Yeah.
and I'd have the SEAL team in the S-Class behind.
Ooh.
And so his jet flew into Northolt, and when this Admiral got off the plane, he was about 7 foot tall.
It's not going to fit in an A6 then.
Well, it wasn't just that it was an A6. In those days, when they used to armour a car, they used to put a shell inside it.
Right.
So it was like a car within a car, really.
Even smaller.
So it was even smaller. So we folded this Admiral into the car and drove him to the hotel. When he got out of the car, he looked at the SEAL team in this massive S-Class Mercedes. And he went, "Why am I in that? And these guys are in that." So we spent the rest of the time, it was about 2 weeks, is it? The rest of the time, SEAL team was in an armoured Audi.
And he was in a normal car.
He was in the S-Class.
That must have been interesting, going to all the bases and
military sites that stuff,
dealing with all the security there.
Yeah.
I suppose. When you're in, what's happening while you're in this situation in your personal life? Are you married at this point? Or?
Yeah, I was married. I had 2 boys. Sadly, the marriage broke up, and I got remarried to Jane, as you know. Yeah.
And so, where did your career go from there after that? Then,
well, the general consensus was that I was really good at it.
Okay.
Fortunately.
The consensus.
Yeah. Well, just because people used to ask for me.
So you're getting a name for yourself.
Yeah,
now.
exactly. Yeah. So I got a bit of a rep on the streets.
Yeah.
So so that sort of work continued. Like, for example, there was years ago when the Soviets were occupying Afghanistan.
Yeah.
The Mujahideen were our friends.
Yeah. In fact, there is a James Bond film, isn't there? I think it's Live and Let Die, when they're actually dedicated to our brave fighters of the Mujahideen.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you watch the title sequence, they actually dedicated it to, which then I guess turned into the Taliban.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's interesting. So, go on.
Yeah, so the most important people of the Mujahideen at the time came over to London as guests of the Foreign Commonwealth Office. So it was about 6 or 7 of them. So we had a two-car job on it, and this fellow called Brian, who was driving them around. He's a swarthy-looking gentleman, driving them around. And one evening we had to go up to Harrow, which is in northwest London, to Friends of the Mujahideen.
Wow.
And they said to us, when you're 5 minutes out, give us a ring. I found this number. So 5 minutes out, I found the number. And we pull into this like residential street, big houses, but residential street. And as we pull into the street, there's all people across the road, all waving flags and clapping and cheering. Right. So we both pull into the front of this house, and we get out, they go in. And I said to Brian, I see a fish and chip shop down the road, shall we go and get some fish and chips?
I like your thinking.
Yeah, great, yeah. So we're just about to leave, and the host of the house came out and said, would you like something to eat? It's always rude to say no. Said, yeah, absolutely, thank you very much. So they took us into this like ante room off the kitchen, and they brought out this big trays of fresh fruit, melons and sausages, and not sausages, strawberries, and I don't know where sausages come. We just had sausages for dinner. That's what it is. And anyway, big tray of fruit. So we scoffed it all out, and I took that tray away. And then they brought out this big silver platter with a whole leg of lamb on it, and like this scimitar, a big scimitar. And we're carving great lumps of lamb off this leg, stuffing it down. And the fella came back and went, "Hope you've left some room for your main course."
Oh dear.
We're already like this. and they brought out this great big tray of spicy meatballs and rice. So of course we had to eat something, you know, but really ill afterwards. But
don't fancy working after that.
No.
You've got some other stories of that kind of thing as well, haven't you? That you've told me where you get offered hospitality and that sort of stuff within the job.
Oh yeah.
Wherever you went, and further on in your career, the better the hospitality you got by the sounds of things.
Yeah.
So after you'd done those kind of things, so you're working for this company, and then what happened after that? Then
we was talking earlier about sliding doors moments, about how, you know, things can change. So I can't remember whether it's every 2 years or 4 years, but there's a big military air show in the south of England called Farnborough. So it's Farnborough Air Show.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah. So I can't remember if it's 2 years or 4 years, but anyway. So I'd done it before for Sikorsky, and did a good job. And someone must have passed on my name. I got asked to do Raytheon.
So at this point, you're doing high-class chauffeuring, but you're still working for somebody else, or are you now working for yourself?
The first Farnborough Air Show I was working for someone. The second one I was working for myself.
So at this point now,
subcontracting.
You're working for yourself.
Yeah.
And you get offered the chance to do Raytheon.
Yeah.
So what happened then?
Yeah. So Raytheon was a really good gig actually, because I was driving the assistant to the CEO. So that meant I got access to all the hospitality chalets and all that. It was great. And just referencing back to the Russians, or to the Soviets at the time in Afghanistan. I got talking to this guy in the hospitality chalet, and he was ex-CIA. And at the time, the CIA were supplying Stinger missiles to the Mujahideen to shoot down the Soviet helicopters.
Yeah, I remember that.
Anyway,
there's a story in the papers,
right?
At
Yeah.
the time.
So he said that he was having real trouble trying to get these people to understand that the helicopter had to be close enough to hit it. If it's too far away, they won't be able to hit it. So it had to be within, but it couldn't be too close, otherwise the missile wouldn't harm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, he couldn't get him to understand. He said so. He came up. He had a bit of lateral thinking, which I know you like. Right? He got these squares of plastic, and he drilled a circle in these holes of plastic. And he said, when you hold this square of plastic at arm's length, and the helicopter fits inside it, pull the trigger.
Yeah. If it's too big, then it's too close.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, well, if it works, it works.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, so I'm doing Raytheon, and what just said about sliding doors moments, right? When you turn left or you turn right. So I'd eaten all sandwiches and drank all the soft drinks, so I thought I'll go and have a look around the air show again. So I came out of the chalet and turned left, and I bumped into, almost immediately, a fellow that I've known on the circuit, because there's quite a small circle of chauffeurs working at that level.
I can imagine.
In London. So, and everybody knows everybody else. So I bumped into this fella, and he said that a fella that I'd worked with years ago, 15 years ago, was working at a big insurance company, and one of the other chauffeurs at that insurance company was going on sick leave for 3 months, and he wanted 3 months cover. Now, I'd not done a lot of corporate work. I've done some, but not a lot of corporate work. And would have been interested. It was 3 months' work. So I phoned up the fellow who went on to be a really good friend. And he said, could you pop down? So I popped down a few days later, had a chat. And he said, yeah, can you do it? I said, yeah, of course, 3 months' work, great. So it was a big, I think it was the fifth biggest insurance brokers in London, big time. And it was all corporate. I was driving BMW 750s and money no object really. You know,
That's what you want.
yeah, that's what you want.
Ideal. So it's like the top level chauffeur.
Yeah, yeah.
Really.
Oh god, yeah. So I did the 3 months. It took a short while to adjust from the military sort of stuff, the diplomat stuff, to the corporate. I think I told you the other day. I was the first week I was on a 2-car job with one of the other drivers, and we was picking up the CEO plus another couple of people, and we got to a T junction, and rather than waiting behind like a normal person, I pulled around and blocked the road so that the principal in the car can pull out. You know, I did that 3 or 4 times on the journey, and when we got to the destination, the fellow I was working with, "What are you doing?"
We're not in Baghdad.
Yeah, he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "We don't want to do that." He went, "Well, no. What do you think is going to happen? We're in
Leafy UK.
Yeah, we're in East Grinstead. What do you think is going to happen?" So
difficulty adjusting from one to the other.
Yeah, but you know,
eventually,
I'm not stupid. I was able to adjust my style of driving and that, and so that was that.
Okay, so now you accept the temporary. I guess what kind of year was this? Then give us an idea. So you're accepting the temporary assignment.
Yeah, so that would have been about 2004, 2005. I'm just looking at James. He's looking at me. 2009. There you go.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So
you then accept this job. It's a temporary job.
Yeah.
3 months. Where are you living at this point then in your personal life? Are you still living in a similar area? Have you moved anywhere?
Yeah. No, we was still in Dagenham.
So when did you move to Dagenham then?
When I got married the first time, we moved to Barking and then to Dagenham.
Right. So you're still living in Dagenham.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're living in Dagenham. You've now got this temporary job with this big insurance company. What happened next?
Right. So as I say, it was a 3-month job. One of the other chauffeurs had his ankle fused. So that was 3 months. So the CFO at the time, the chief financial officer, was a quite big Australian fella, massive, huge human being he was. And we used to pick him up in the morning, bring him into work from Putney, which is southwest London. And so bringing him in every day was rotating, to different chauffeurs. So that was my last day. And I say his first name, Jim. Whenever Jim got in the car, I'd go, "G'day, mate, what's new?" That was his thing. And I said to him, well...
It's from Ireland then, is he?
He's Welsh, yeah. He said, so I said to him, this is my last day, Jim. Thanks very much. It's been a real pleasure. He went, "What are you talking about?" I won't do the accent. He said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Yes, this is the end of my 3 months. This is my last day." He said, "Oh, we can't have that." He said, "Do you want a job?" I said, "Yeah."
Of course.
So he phoned up the CEO and said, "Look, it's Colin's last day. I want to keep him." And I say his first name is Dominic. And Dominic just went, "Yeah, okay, whatever." And I finished work that day. I went to Lakeside. I went to Lakeside, and the facilities manager phoned me. I was just getting on the escalator. He said, "Right, so I've been told you're going to be working with us. How does this figure sound?" And I nearly fell down the escalator.
Yeah. It's good money for
a
chauffeur.
Yeah, virtually doubled my money overnight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so I started, and it was great pension, private healthcare, the full Monty.
So you made it really in the chauffeuring.
Cracked it.
So how did you find working there? You like it?
It was great. Lovely people. Because it was at the time, even though the company was turning over a shed load of money, it was still a relatively small company in terms of the city. So there was still a real collegiate sort of atmosphere there. And people that worked there very rarely left.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, so that's a good sign.
How many other chauffeurs were there?
Well, at the time there was 3 others, so I was the 4th.
All on the same money as you?
No. So I found out about, I've been there about 6 months, I suppose. I found out that the other 3 guys were earning way more than me. So
quite a bit more.
Quite a bit more, yeah. So I went to see the operations manager, and it was, chauffeurs are in a peculiar position, right, in the hierarchy of the company, because they're relatively low down, but they spend all their time with the most senior people.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a very strange world.
Yeah, so being a chauffeur, I could walk anywhere in the company and just knock on someone's door and go in, because I knew everyone. So anyway, so I went to see the COO, the Chief Operations Officer, thank you. And I always remember I sat there, and I said to him, "Look, I don't think it's fair that these guys are getting paid more than me. I'm doing exactly the same job." And he went, "Well, I think they get paid too much. Why don't I drop their money to yours?" Nice. I said, "No, don't do that."
How to make friends and influence people.
Yeah, I said, "No, calm yourself down. Don't do that." Anyway, and then he started questioning me on how many hours he was doing and the European Working Time Directive. And I had no answers for none of that. So I went. I said, "Well, thanks very much." Anyway, shut the door, and I thought, there you go. I said, "Well, I didn't go as well as I thought."
So this next bit.
But he said to me, as I was walking out the door, he went, "Don't be afraid to come and ask for more money, though, will you?" So I thought, okay, all right, yeah, I'll show you.
Yeah. So this next bit is a testament to how you operate with everything. So you see a problem, you find a solution, and you do your best to resolve that problem.
Right.
So that from working with you, that's what you do most of the time. Like whenever we're doing a project here or whatever, nothing really phases you. You sit down and look at it logically and see okay, that's a problem, but how can I fix it? So what did you do after that first knockback?
So at the time, when I started there was the senior people all hunting, shooting, fishing.
Yeah.
And one of the PAs asked if I could drive some guns shotguns, to a shoot. And I said, I can't do it because I haven't got a shotgun license. And then I thought, but if I had one, I'd be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I made the appropriate applications, and one of the, was it SO 15?
It would have been SO 19.
SO 19.
Which is the firearms command.
Yeah. So one of the firearms officers from the Metropolitan Police came round, made sure I wasn't a complete lunatic, and signed off it, and I got my shotgun licence. I also did quite a few first aid courses up to trauma level. I did the IAM test, which is the Institute of Advanced Motorists, and the ROSPA test up to gold.
What does that stand for?
Royal Society for Prevention of Accidents.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
And I know the Institute of Advanced Motoring test is incredibly hard.
Yeah.
And it takes an awful lot. It's not, you can't just turn off.
Oh no.
It's months of work.
Yeah.
and being assessed constantly and going out with someone and then you get a test and it's incredibly difficult. Yeah. So quite impressive. Very impressive.
I've got all of those qualifications, and I went back to see this guy. But it must have been about 6 months later. I went back to see the COO, and I said, right. I said, I've got all these 4 qualifications, and the other guys, I've got 1 or 2 out of them. I've got all 4. And I said, I'm being paid this much less. I don't think it's fair.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at me, he went, leave it to me. And I thought, nothing's going to happen. And 2 months later, I got my pay slip, and it was a massive pay rise.
Yeah. Percentage-wise, what do you reckon?
Probably a 25% pay rise.
That's impressive.
Yeah. And it just went on from there, really.
So you stayed with this company. Did you do any during your career doing that? Did you do any other notable? I think I've seen a picture of you, Nelson Mandela.
Yeah. So as I said earlier, I used to do a fair bit for the South African High Commission. Really, really nice people. Always in complete chaos, but things used to happen.
Right.
But lovely, lovely people. So whenever Nelson Mandela used to come to town, he used to come to London, we'd always look after him. And I think I met him 4 times, maybe 5 times, can't remember.
What was he like?
Lovely fella, lovely, really, really. There's a few people that I've met in my life that have got real charisma, and he's one of them.
Who else can you remember?
So we did Bill Clinton's visit,
mm-hmm.
and at the end of the visit, I think I was driving to Secret Service, and at the end of the visit, we was all in the one of the Royal Suite at Heathrow, and we all got lined up, and he came down the line and shook her hands and said thank you and all that, which is really nice. I didn't expect that. And he's got this thing that when he shakes your hand, he holds onto your hand for just a bit longer than you'd expect, and he looks directly at you, and it feels like you're the only person in the room. It's really strange. Yeah, it's a real strange experience. Anyway, so yeah, Nelson Mandela, when he did the unveiling of the statue of himself in Parliament Square, we had practiced the movement from the Dorchester down to Parliament Square with SEG, which you well know, which is the specialistic group. They're armed officers on white motorbikes, aren't they? Yeah, smashing fellas, really good at their job. And yeah, so we'd practice the movement, 3 or 4 routes. And the plan was that we'd go from the Dorchester, past Buckingham Palace, down Birdcage Walk, and SEG would peel off just before we go into the square. And so, doing the actual movement, we left the Dorchester, Park Lane, Constitution Hill, Birdcage Walk, SEG peeled off. And I should just say that we had hired an armoured Audi, but a proper A8 latest armoured Audi from Audi in Milton Keynes. And I was in the car behind with Mrs. Misha, his wife. And as we pulled into the square, the driver of the Audi in front, it was a huge Irish fella, saw that there was a young fella standing up with his hand up, saying, "You can't come in, we're expecting Nelson Mandela." Right? But this armoured Audi had a PA system, because the windows are like that. You can't open the windows, or can't open windows. So he's picked up this PA, and he's whispered in it, "Get out the way," and he swore at him. What he didn't realise is that it was so loud that everybody in the square heard it, So this guy jumped out of the way and we drove in, and so that was good fun.
Yeah, speaking of Irish, did you ever do any work during the Troubles, Northern Ireland? Anything like that?
Towards the end of it, I think it was working towards the Good Friday agreement. All the players flew into Manston Airport, which I'm sure you know, down in Kent, and there was a big talk in.
That's where they put all the trucks now.
That's it, yeah. There was a big talk, like a set of talks in Leeds Castle, which is not in Leeds. It's actually in Kent.
Yeah, that's right. It's down towards Dover.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So, so we had any number of cars in that, and we had. I can't remember. Would it have been DPG then? Would it, or Special Branch? I can't remember.
Probably. Which year would it be?
Oh, it's a long time ago.
Oh, Special Branch.
Yeah, I thought it was Special Branch. Yeah. Anyway, they had these Range Rovers. Well, no one had taken the time to measure the width of the entrance into Leeds Castle.
Oh, nice.
So we're all in this massive convoy going from.
I can see the convoy.
Venstor, going to from Manston Airport, flashing lights and all that business, and in this big convoy, and we come around down to the entrance to Leeds Castle, and the front Special Branch Range Rover wedges itself in the arch that leads over the drawbridge into the front of the castle.
Brilliant.
And so everybody had to decamp and walk.
Nice. It's not super secure.
Yeah, and that Range Rover's probably still there because they couldn't get it out.
Yeah. You spent most of your time, all your time after that in the insurance brokers.
Yeah.
I guess all the way up till you retired.
Yeah, so as I say, I was really fortunate to get that job, and Dominic was a real mentor and a real. He really looks after me, and I'll thank him forever for that. And that was great. I worked hard. Don't get me wrong, but it was a real pleasure working there. And then in the meantime, we bought the house up in Normandy. So it actually wasn't in Normandy. It's actually, we had this conversation the other day. It's actually in the Pays de la Loire, which is a massive area.
Yeah.
And we was only about 5 or 6 kilometres from the border into Normandy. So it's just easier to say Normandy.
I think for people, I don't know, who may be watching this, don't realise how big France is.
It's huge.
And the regions which we would call regions which we would probably call counties.
Yeah.
They're just
vast.
Huge.
Yeah.
And they include sub-departments within that. But the regions, you can live either side of the region and you've got a good few hours travelling in one direction to get from one to the other.
Yeah.
So it's so vast, yeah. So hold on, how did you come to, did you just wake up one morning and decide I'm going to buy a house in Normandy? Or
No, so the insurance company I worked for had a share save scheme.
Oh, right. Okay.
Where you they took money from your wages
before you got it,
and paid for shares in the company, and then at the end of a set period, you would get those shares that you paid for, but at the original price.
Yeah.
So
you could then sell them on.
You could then sell them on at their price that had obviously gone up.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking at a sum of money, and I thought Jan would probably kill me, but I was thinking about buying a C63 Mercedes with it.
Yes.
So he's looking at me now.
Don't throw anything.
So anyway, so one of the fellas in work, we had this railway arch that the company rented, really nice, where we kept all the cars and washed them and all that.
I just see, if you're familiar with the film Snatch.
Yeah, but
Well,
cleaner.
Is it Snatch?
No, it's it's Snatch. Yeah, of course
Snatch,
it is. Yeah.
Jason Statham's got the caravan in the corner.
Yeah. That sausage ready yet?
Yeah.
5 minutes Turkish.
5 minutes. You said 5 minutes 10 minutes ago.
That's it.
Yeah. Anyway, digress. So you're in the railway. Aren't
Yeah. So in the railway action, we had a porter cabin in there, and one of the fellows had finished with a computer. He'd been looking at property on Rightmove overseas, looking at Spanish property.
Right.
So he just went away from it. I said, you finished? Yeah. So went and had a look, and I looked at the usual suspects of Spain, Portugal. Ireland was really good at the time. Irish property was cheap as chips. Bulgaria, all the usual stuff. Then I come across France.
Yeah.
And I realised that you could buy a proper house.
An actual house.
With a roof, maybe some walls.
Yeah.
For like 30k.
Yeah.
So looked through it, I just couldn't believe it. So came home and showed Jane, and I said, "Look, this is fantastic." And Jane went, "Yeah, okay, whatever." Wasn't that interested, but I kept on her, and then she got the bug. She got the Leggets bug, and started looking online. She's smiling over there. Started looking online, and then I looked into it further, and I found out that you could get a French mortgage.
Yep. So this is obviously pre-Brexit.
Yeah.
So we're talking
even before the vote.
Right. So between 2010 and 2015ish, somewhere in that region.
Sorry, Darren, what was that?
2015.
So it would have been 2014.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So so I found out we could buy a French mortgage. Sorry, we could get a French mortgage, which raised our budget to 150k, wasn't it?
Yeah, you started at 30, and by the time I finished, it was.
So we had a budget of 150k, and at the time, and you still can, you can buy a shed load of sheds.
Yeah.
You can buy a shed load of property for 150k.
With land.
And
sometimes outbuildings.
Yeah. So we started coming over here to France, and looking for places, and eventually bought the house that you've all seen up in Normandy. I actually paid a little.
So you bought a house, and at that point, that's obviously a holiday home.
Yeah. So the plan was that I was going to work till I was 62. Because I was 35 then.
Yeah.
I wasn't that. No, I was going to work till I was 62, and then we was both going to retire, and come and live over it. So it was always a plan to live over it. But then two things happened. So the insurance company got bought out by a big American insurance brokers. So all of the departments were
merged.
That's the word, thank you. Merged, which meant that they already had 2 chauffeurs in London. With our 4, there's 6 chauffeurs.
That's a lot of chauffeurs.
That's a lot of chauffeurs. No one has 6 chauffeurs. So shortly after that, probably about a year after that, COVID came along.
So it's end of 2019, 2020?
I would guess, yeah.
Into 2020.
Yeah, that's right. COVID came along, and as COVID progressed, we had the lockdown, March 22nd, we had the 23rd, something. We had the lockdown.
Not much call for a chauffeur.
Well, no one was going to work. No one was travelling around. No clients were coming in.
Was it?
So there was no call for me to be doing anything. So I didn't do any work for 18 months. I still got paid, which was fantastic. It was really good of them. I didn't do any work. I I did 2 or 3 jobs in that entire 18 months, I think. And I could see the writing on the wall. I could see what was coming.
So you've got the house that you bought, that we saw at the beginning of your videos.
Yes.
You're still working, but in COVID, there's no actual work, but you're still getting paid. But you've got to look towards the end of that. So you're thinking, what at this point? It's gonna.
Yeah, exactly. So as I say, I could see the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
What with the downturn in world economics as well, I knew that 6 chauffeurs were unsustainable.
Yeah.
And what I said to you earlier about chauffeurs being in a peculiar position, I knew all the really senior people really well. So I made a few phone calls, and sure enough, they had been talking about redundancies. So I said, look, because there is a process, even though everyone knew what was going to happen.
Yeah,
there's still a process that has to be gone through. So I said, look, I can make it easy for you. If you give me enough money, I'll just go away, and you'll never see me again.
Nice.
So I was surprised at first, and they said, all right, yeah, great. So that's what happened. So we put our house on the market.
Well, hold on, before you get that far, that everyone who's watching this and watches your channel will probably want to know, look, what made you make the decision to come here full time? Because you could have kept it as a holiday home and still lived in the UK, or could you not? What was that thought process from going from a holiday home to permanently moving?
We had already planned it, that we was, that I was going to retire.
Yeah.
We was going to retire. And we was going to go and live in France.
Just not at that time.
But it just brought it forward. I think it was 8 months it brought it forward.
So you'd already had the discussions. You want to retire and come over to France.
Yeah.
But then with COVID and everything else and the company merging, you just went right. Seize the opportunity.
This is the opportunity. Yeah. Opportunity of lifetime.
Was Jane working at this time?
Jane was still working. Yeah, actually, Jane had to work pretty much all through lockdown.
Yeah.
So.
But once you realised you took that decision, then Jane obviously handed a notice in, or
she
handed
a notice in, and we both. So
talk me through that last day then. So you've sold a house in England.
Yeah.
Where were you living then?
No, we actually left the UK on the day that we handed the keys back to the estate agent.
That is the stuff dreams are made of. To do it like that.
In
There's
fact,
no rented properties.
If you go back to the very first video that I think I filmed with a potato, you'll see me actually doing it.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So that is, go and have a look at the first video, and that's where we're at the moment. That is brilliant.
Yeah, because funny enough, that was another sliding doors moment, because we were sitting outside the house. All we had to do was go and, because we'd already sent all our furniture over. Yes, we had. Yeah, we'd already sent all our furniture over, and all we had to do was go and put, because it was early, it's about 7 o'clock in the morning. We had to put the front door keys through the estate agent's letterbox.
What was that? What did that feel like?
It was exciting, terrifying, but exciting.
Terrifying, but exciting. Yeah. I would think so.
And Jane said to me, because I talked about doing a YouTube channel, because that's what got us through lockdown, really, watching YouTube videos, wasn't it? And France everything.
That was going to be my next question. When did you start? Because obviously that was your first video.
Yeah. So
what made you then think, well, hold on, if I'm going to go to France, I'm going to do a YouTube video? Why was that?
Well, as I say, we've been watching YouTube videos right through lockdown. For France everything. And I said, I'm going to do a YouTube channel. Everybody else says, I might as well. And it was at that point, sitting outside the house, waiting to go to the estate agents to drop the keys off. Jane said to me, so you're going to do it then or what? She said, because this is like 0.0, this is where it starts.
Brilliant.
And I was like, not sure I can be bothered, but all right then. And she filmed me, and yeah.
You're glad you did it?
Yeah.
All right, so let's get onto YouTube. So then you come over to your house in Normandy.
Yeah.
And now you start doing YouTube videos.
Yeah.
You retired.
Yeah.
And you're doing YouTube videos. Talk me through the early stages of doing the YouTube stuff then.
Didn't have a clue what I was doing.
Have you got any advice to anyone who's going to start out and wants to do a similar sort of thing and start doing a YouTube blog or vlog?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're never going to get rich unless you're really. It's like footballers actually. When you think of how many people play football,
Yeah.
you know, and the Sunday League,
Yeah.
The percentage of Premier League footballers is so small.
Yeah.
It's the same with YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's millions and millions of YouTube channels, and there's a small amount that do really, really well. So realistically, you're probably never going to get rich.
No. In fact, funny you should mention that because while we're here today doing this, Robbie from Escape to Charente,
Yeah.
he came
Link in
over.
the description.
Link in the description.
Yeah.
He came over on his motorbike.
Yeah.
Lovely day today.
Yeah.
And we were just discussing YouTube because all
Yeah.
three of us have got a channel. And he was coming up with the fact that only 8 or 9%, something
8%,
like
I think, yeah.
have got more than 1,000 subscribers
Yeah.
on YouTube.
When you think of the millions of YouTube channels,
Yeah. Well, it covers the whole world, of course,
Yeah.
and there's just so many. So there's some good, interesting things. How do you make a video interesting then? What is it that you bring to a video?
I think most important is to be authentic.
Yeah.
That's the most important because people see through. What's the word I'm looking for? People see through facades, and you know, if you're putting on something that you're not, you may get away with it for a while, but people see through it, and it's pointless.
Yeah.
So most important, be authentic. Just be yourself. Yeah. You know. Yeah, we've been there about a year, and we realised that a few, not issues with the house, but because the house was lovely.
It was
It
really
was
nice.
really beautiful
And you put
house.
an awful lot of work into it.
Yeah, and but it was out in the middle of nowhere, with no neighbours, and we just thought, well, certainly Jane thought as well, that if we're going to live in a foreign country, if we're going to live in France, let's move to the sun.
Yeah.
You know, let's enjoy it, because Normandy, whilst it is beautiful, you still get it's almost UK weather, isn't it?
Yeah, it's similar.
Couple
To,
of
if you went to
degrees,
South Cornwall, it'd be similar. Similar kind of weather.
Yeah. Still like everything's really green in Normandy, but there's a reason for that.
Because it rains.
Yeah. So so we decided that maybe we really ought to move to the sun.
So from that, then, if you were giving someone any advice who's buying a house to move to for retirement, or what would you suggest that buy somewhere closer to a village or amenities?
Right.
Or,
yeah. So there's a couple of points there. The reason that we chose Normandy, or I chose Normandy, was because Jane wanted to go to Brittany. But the reason that we chose Normandy was because you come through through Eurotunnel, and it's a relatively short drive, and we could bring the dog with us every time.
You've also got major ports like not too far as Cherbourg, Caen, and even St Malo, I guess.
Yes,
so it's really easy to get to.
Yeah, so it's easy to get to, and we could do long weekends without it being too much of a.
So it's ideal for a second home, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
But when you moved there, so what you're saying, when you moved there full time, you found it, you would like to be closer to some things, like a town, or because you really were isolated.
Yeah. So I just wanted to be near some shops and people, really.
Yeah.
You know, the hamlet where we live now, it's all French. There's no other English people here, which is great. You know,
your neighbours seem fantastic.
They're lovely, yeah.
Got a little typical French allotment garden.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, it's
lovely. Got a farm up the road here. It's just great. It's lovely.
So you decided and you found this place and you came down to Charente.
We actually went to Full Monty on it and went all the way down to Carcassonne first, which is right in the south of France.
Wasn't a fit.
Yeah, we just didn't feel like we enjoyed the vibe of it that much.
Everyone's different.
Yeah, that's
like
right. Yeah,
different
that's
places, aren't
right. Yeah. So we'd read that Charente was the second sunniest place in France. So after the Côte d'Azur, and so we thought that's the place to be.
Yeah.
And
it is sunny.
Yeah.
It is sunny.
And Dordogne is still an English people.
Yeah.
Dordogne, Charente. And so yeah, Charente's just down the road, but it's still really, really French, isn't it?
And you're not too far from Conflans.
Yeah, Conflans is just down the road. Yeah.
So then you moved down here and you bought this house and you've just been doing it up since. What's it like having a swimming pool in the summer?
Really, it's fantastic, isn't it?
I do.
It's fantastic.
Absolutely.
It's not a lot of work, but there's stuff that has to be done every day.
Maintenance
got to be done every day. It doesn't take long. Just got to test your water and look after it. And over the 3 years, the plan is to redecorate it all, obviously, but bring it up to French code. So it's nice and safe. We had a bit of a shock with that. If you watch, especially Andy's video, because or Andy's videos, I should say, because he goes into much more depth into the work that's been done. So bring the house up to standard, and just make it a lovely home for people to to visit.
Yeah, one of those things which I've seen today and seen quite often is the Tiki bar.
Yes.
So what was the idea behind the Tiki bar? Because I'll be honest with you, I had to Google what it was.
Okay.
Because you started with the Tiki bench,
yeah,
and then your Tiki bar, but there's obviously, what's it for?
Right. So sadly, I lost my brother last year, and he was only 5 years older than me. And wherever he went around the world, he always built a tiki bar when he got there, which is just like a temporary bar where they'd set it up and do drinks and parties and that, and it was just great. And I just thought as a fitting sort of tribute to him, I'm going to build a tiki bar that's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I've got that.
Yeah, and so that was the idea behind it.
Brilliant. I've seen it. It's certainly substantial. I'll have a look at it. Please have a look at the videos with him building it. He's put so much effort into it, getting all the wood cut right and all the angles. I've looked at it myself. It's really well made. So it's going to be fantastic for the summer with the swimming pool and everything. It's going to be great. So that's what the future holds then. You're just going to do your 3-year plan? Or
the skills that I've learned through you have enabled me to have the confidence to take on stuff that I would never do before. Yeah. Like, for example, just talking about the tiki bar, I now know how to run power out to it safely, and how to run water out to it safely, and how to do drainage. I know how to do it. I just didn't know how to do it before.
Yeah.
But so it's been brilliant. And I can't thank you enough for that.
That's just right. I'm looking forward to seeing it all in action this summer, because obviously I'm going to be coming back to do the last part of the puzzle. So I'm really looking forward to that. So that's it. Well, I think that's part covered it. So we're up to current time, aren't we?
Yeah.
Really. That's excellent. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, not really. Just I think what I would say is just do it. Right? If you
life is short.
Life's so short. Life is so short, and you never know what's around the corner. Okay, and if you want to do something, if you want to go and live in France, if you want to go, don't do anything. Just do it. Because we used to watch, The Place in the Sun and all that, and you'd see people on there, and we've spoken to people as well that we've been looking for a house for 8 years. Yeah, but if you haven't found it in 8 years, you're not going to find it. You're being completely unrealistic. just life's all about compromise as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
You know, you make compromises and you do the best that you can. But just do it. That's most important.
I would say that as well, and that's probably a good note to end on. Just do it. Okay, so thanks for watching this interview with Colin. It'll be you'll see it on his channel, so that's going to be great. So I think you should finish this interview off.
I think you should do it actually.
No, I can't do it. No, I think you should finish it. It's
Okay,
your
all right.
interview.
So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Maybe share it on social media. That'd be great. Press the notification bell so that you know when there's new content. And think about subscribing if you're not subscribed already. Thanks for all the new subscribers, by the way. And all it leaves to say is, well, there you go. I'll see you soon.